In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the Hofstra Library homepage to do your research. We're going to start in the portal. Once you log into the portal, you're going to click on the library tab that's on the left-hand side. This will take us to the library homepage. Keep in mind that you can do your research from at home or on campus. I'm going to orientate you first to this menu here, which you click. You're going to scroll down to Student Services, and you're going to take a look at Interlibrary Loan. Interlibrary Loan is important because it allows you to borrow books and articles. When we do a search, there might be articles you want that we don't own, but we can get them for you, and we email them to you. So go through this guide. It's pretty quick. Sign in with your library portal information, your Hofstra portal information. Fill out the form that's there, and then you'll be able to do Interlibrary Loan, which I'll talk about more later. Let's go back to library homepage. So on this side of the screen is what we want to focus our time. I want you to avoid OneSearch. OneSearch is a search box that searches from the library, the catalog, the internet, all of our electronic sources, and it's not targeted, and I think it's too much, so we're going to avoid it right now. If you wanted books, you would go to the catalog, you just click it and write the name of the book or topic you want. But we want articles, so we're going to go to Databases by Subject. After you hit Databases by Subject, and at this time I'm going to tell you, you might want to take some notes because there's a lot of clicking to do. You're going to select a subject, and for this class we're going to select Education. We're going to click Go. Here's a list of 23 education databases, and I don't expect you to figure out which one is which. By the way, that's me. Just in case you see me, you know who I am and you can find me if you need help. There are some databases here that aren't quite relevant. Counseling is not relevant for us right now. Research, this means theses and other dissertations. We want to just focus on a couple databases, and I'm going to tell you which ones to focus on. Click this first one here, Academic Search Complete, and I'm going to show you how to search 6 databases at once. Once we're here, you can do your search, but I think we can do a little better than this. Click Choose Databases. You're going to add Education Full Text and ERIC. You're also going to scroll down a little and add psych articles and psych info. And the psychology databases are useful because they have research on development and people with special needs. Because you're going to be looking at syndromes, I would also add Medline that might help you get the etiology information that you need. There are better sources for the background on a syndrome. You can go to the CDC. There is a website with respect to rare disorders. That would be another module. So let's just keep it to these 6 databases. I'll hit OK, and then I'm going to get ready to do my search. We're going to keep it very simple. We don't want to add a lot of words. We don't want to make it complicated. We just want to start very broad and then narrow. So we start with our syndrome. We're going to put in Prader-Willi as an example, and as I start to type, I get something to select. And then we can narrow this down further. We can decide, do we want to look up teaching strategies? Do we want to look up therapies? In this case, I'm going to put in teaching because most of us are teachers and that's what we are interested in. And we're just going to see what we get. You can also hit this peer review button. That will ensure that we get research. At this point, we may need research for different purposes, or maybe we don't. Maybe we just want background information. So I'm going to leave it unclicked for now. I'm going to hit search. And what I get is 36 articles that are Prader-Willi and teaching. They may or may not be very relevant to what I'm actually looking for, but they do mention the words that I have selected. We also want to look at the publication date. We don't want things from 1999 when we're talking about a medical issue, so we want to update this to at least, say, 2005. That will narrow our results further. It gives us only 16. This is a very, very, very narrow topic at this point. 16 articles isn't a whole lot, but if you only need 1 or 2 articles, it's sufficient. We want to scroll down a little and look at our results, and you want to decide, is any of this relevant? A lot of this seems like it's health related and not teaching related, but here you have for number 4, an educational provision, behavioral phenotypes in the classroom. So some of these items might be very helpful when it comes to looking at teaching strategies. You might also find the kinds of information you need, the background information, in a lot of these articles as well. So just for the sake of talking about how you're going to treat these articles, let's select number 3. Once we click the title, we're going to look at the record. This is the record. What I want you to do is take note of the title. Is it relevant? Look at the authors. You always want to see what the author affiliation is. Are they qualified to write the article? You can find that information where they're affiliated, usually in the article itself. We look at the journal. We're going to look at the year, make sure it's relatively recent. It is a peer-reviewed article. We didn't hit the peer-reviewed button, but this is telling us it is a peer-reviewed article, so that's good. Peer-reviewed means that it's gone through an evaluative process by the journal and it's been evaluated by other experts in the field. Sometimes we don't need peer review though. The abstract is very helpful. It gives us a summary of the article. In this case, the article appears to be a research study because we know this because it tells us the name of the sample, how many people are in the sample, what was done to the sample or with the participants, and the results. You may just want an article that describes a teaching strategy, and that's just fine. And then for that purpose, we'll go back and look for a different article. If you look to this side of the screen, if you hit Cite, you will get an APA citation that you can copy and paste. When I click it, I get a list. Here's my APA. I can copy and paste it. I do want to mention, however, that sometimes these need a little editing, and in this case, we do need to edit this citation. Every word in this citation in the name of the article is capitalized, and that should not be the case. It should only be the first word of each part of the title, and also right after the colon. So you need to edit that after you copy it. Also, in the Journal of Research, the O and O should not be capitalized. Other than that, the rest is fine, but it's really up to you to make sure your citations are perfect. Going back to the article, so we've evaluated it a little bit. Now what we want to do is we want to find the full text. To do that, we're going to look over to this side. We're going to see, is there a PDF? There is no PDF here. PDF would be great. But that doesn't mean that there's no article. Okay. We're going to click the Find Article link, and it's going to take us somewhere else and tell us where we can find the full text of this article. In this case, it took us to another page, and it says, if you want this article, click this link. And my advice to you is just keep clicking links until you get to the full text. If I click this, I will eventually get to the article. Sometimes it'll take me to the journal and I have to do a little searching. And if I'm lucky, it opens up the full text of the article right away for me. And here it is. And that's great. And that's very helpful. And sometimes you'll get a message on this page that says, we don't have it. You'll have to interlibrary loan it. And that's okay. We have a very good service where if you click the link they give you, it will fill out a form, and you hit submit, it will request the article for you. And then it will be emailed to you in a couple of days, and maybe a week or two, but it's usually pretty quick. It's a good service, so if you find a good article, I wouldn't discount using it. We're just going to go back to our results list. And we're going to go back to the main page. There are some other ways that we can change our searches. For example, I could just take out teaching and I can see what there is on Prader-Willi in general. And I want to point out when I do that, I get 3,000 articles. That's a lot, and we may be looking at Prader-Willi and all different types of populations that don't really concern us. So it's important to narrow this down a bit. As I mentioned earlier, there are other websites if you need just background information on a particular type of syndrome. For now, this is enough information to get you started, and if you need help, you know where to find me. I'm in room 026, and my email address is amy.catalano@hofstra.edu. I hope this helps.